situations. Okay, so good morning. Today's agenda, we're going to start with the lesson rule for adding integers. This time, adding opposite sign numbers means like when you have two numbers, one will be positive, the other one will be negative. Okay, so we're going to add two different kind of numbers, positive and negative. And then you will have one assignment, C1. So it's about integer addition rule and your assignment grade. And at the end of the class, you will have an exit ticket. So, okay. So let me start presenting the slide. Okay. So today's objective is I can add rational numbers with opposite signs by subtracting the smaller absolute value from larger absolute value. So we're going to subtract smaller number from larger number using this sign of number with the larger absolute value. So why are we using the sign of with the larger absolute value? It's because the large number always overcome the smaller one. Okay, we're going to talk about this now. So then is, let me see if you guys are still doing the then. And it's a review from last week again. What is the opposite of 16? So there is a two right answers, by the way. When you simplify it about opposite of 16, the other one is just a mathematical way to write it, opposite of 16. Okay, and the other one is how many feet are in 3 miles. So you need to know the conversion between the units, like miles between feet. Okay, and then last one is kind of riddle. No, not riddle actually. It's just you need to find a pattern between these three numbers, 5 and 2 and 10. What is the relationship 5 and 2 and 10, 3 and 3 and 9? So what will be the missing number in this spot? So once you figure out, just click the submit. It's just a do now. And oops. Okay. So this is the do now. And then let's start the lesson. So we're going to start with talking about opposite signs and when the larger one is positive number. So this is the first case, okay? And let me grab my pencil if I can. Oh, it's on the bottom. Okay, so as you see, like there is two numbers, 5 and -3, but the big number is 5, and the sign of the 5 is positive number. So the larger one is positive. What happens when you add opposite sign numbers like this? So let's review from last week again how to add these two numbers. So the first number is 5. I'm going to start at 0 and I'm going to go 5 to the right. Okay, and it's right here. So the second number is -3. Because of it's a negative number, I am going to start at 5 because this is where I left after the first step, and I'm going to 3 steps to the left because the number is negative number. So I'm going to end it up at 2. So this is my final destination and the result of this sum. Okay, so let's talk about the questions now. So how long the arrow that represents 5? I'm going to go faster now this time. The arrow 5, the red arrow, it's going to right, and it's a 5 units. So, and arrow that represents -3, and which direction? The arrow 3 is the blue arrow, and it's going to left, and it's a 3 units, right? The length of the arrow, it's a 3 blocks. So, and let's write it down. It's a 5 units, and it's a right because it's a positive number, okay? And the second one is 3 units, and it's left. Because the number is negative, and the second thing is the arrow is going to left. So this is the 2 different clues, okay? So next question. Which arrow is longer? And which arrow is longer? Oops, let me go back. Which arrow is longer? As you see, the red arrow is longer, which is arrow 5 is longer. Arrow 5 is longer. Next question is, what is the sum? Your final destination is 2, which means sum is 2 because you ended at 2, okay? And next thing, if you were to represent the sum using an arrow, how long would the arrow be? So if you try to draw an arrow for sum, so the sum is 2, right? I'm gonna draw this time on the bottom. If you try to draw it, it will be starting at 0 till, oops, it's not a green, by the way. I said green, let's do it in the right way. So you're ending at 2. So it's just the 2 units, right? So how long? It will be 2 units long. 2 units long, okay? And which direction? Because of the 2 is positive, and the second thing, because of the arrow is going right, it will be in the right direction. Okay, so these are the things that we talk about in last lesson. Last week, I mean, about adding using a number line. But the reason why we're doing is we're trying to see that there is a kind of thing that you need to remember about relationship between sum and the length of these 2 arrows. So the longer arrow is the red arrow or the positive number. So that's why your sum will become positive. Okay, the shorter arrow is the negative arrow or the arrow that is going left, and it's kind of it's the opposite of with the sum that you find it. Okay, so this is the relationship between the sum and the length of those arrows. And let's talk about on a second example. So this is the first case when the larger number is positive. Now let's talk about the second case when the larger number is negative. Okay, so the 4 and -7. So the larger number is 7, but the sign of the larger number is negative. So, and these numbers are opposite sign numbers. So if you draw it again, real quick, I'm going to pick this. Let me this time a little bit bolder because I can barely see this. And it's the first number is 4, which is I'm going to start at 0 and I will go 4, and I ended up at 4. Okay. And the second number is I'm going to get red this color. So starting at 4, this is what I left. And the second number is 7, and it's negative. So that's why I need to go to the left side, and I end at -3. So this is your final destination, and the result is a negative number. Okay, so now let's talk about the questions. Let me, oops, one step back. Okay, so the first thing, how long the arrow 4 represents. So arrow 4 is positive, and it's going to the right. So it's how long? It's 4 units. 4 units right, because it's positive and arrow is going to the right. And the second one, it's how long that arrow -7 represents. So arrows -7 is it's going to left 7 units. Okay, 7 units left. And which arrow is longer? If you see these 2 arrows, as like it's obvious that the red arrow is longer, right? -7 arrow is longer. What is the sum? And your final destination is -3. Okay, so because of it's -3, I mean you ended at -3, so sum is -3. If you were to represent the sum using an arrow, how long would the arrow be? So if I pick another color, let's pick this time blue, and so that will be starting at 0. It's gonna end at -3. Okay. Oh, by the way, I said blue, and I'm doing different thing. Okay, so starting at 0 and it ended at -3. So which means, like, as you see, the arrow is going to the left. It's because the sign of the number is -3 and it located on the left side of the 0. So the conclusion, it will be 3 units left. And it says what direction, which direction? It will be left direction. Okay. So the conclusion is, again, because of the bigger number, the larger number is negative sign, your result will be also negative number. So when you add opposite sign numbers like this, 4 and 7, or we're going to do other examples too, whichever the number is bigger, so you need to find that one first. So I found that the 7 is bigger than other one. And then second thing, you need to pay attention to the sign of the number, and it's a negative. So you need to know that definitely the result has to be negative before you do the calculation. Okay, first you need to determine whether the sum is negative or positive. Then you need to do the calculation, 7 and 4. Okay, so and how we do the calculation when we add these opposite signs, and let's do the practice on the next slide. Okay. So the rule for opposite sign numbers, again, add a rational number with opposite signs by, you need to subtract those two numbers, then using the sign of the greater number for your sum. So you need to, I know rational numbers, but you need to do the subtraction because of the numbers has opposite signs, okay? So let me show you what I mean. So in this practice, we're gonna identify, we're gonna find out the result is positive or negative without doing the calculation, okay? So, and first we need to circle it, and we need to decide whether it's positive or negative without calculating the sum. So for the first example, this is a we do part, by the way. In the chat box, could you guys tell me the result is positive or negative for this example? Let me open up my chat and see if you're doing, okay, so yes, it is positive. Positive. I have a lot of answers. Awesome. So it's going to be positive, as you said. It's because my big number is 2 and the sign of the number is positive. Okay. So let's do the second one if you're ready. Thank you. Yes, it is positive. So second one, it's a 5 and negative 9. Do you think the result is positive or negative? I'm going to give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yay! I have a bunch of answers. So yes, it is a negative because my big number is 9. 5 is smaller than 9, and the sign of the 9 is negative. So that's why the result is negative. Thank you. So if you're ready, oops, I'm saying negative and I'm trying to put the positive. My bad. Okay, next problem. So now tell me the result is positive or negative. Pay attention both numbers and find out which one is the bigger number, and pay attention the sign of the bigger number. So now we have different answers, not everybody on the same page. Let's see if you can correct yourself. Okay, so I'm going to answer your con question. Don't worry about the practice at the end of the lesson. Okay. Yes. Thank you so much. You corrected now. Yes, it is a negative because you have two numbers, 6 and 3. So big number is 6. And if you pay attention to the sign of the 6, it's a negative. So result has to be negative. Okay. It must be negative. So in the last question, let's see. Now tell me whether the result is negative or positive. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yay, everybody said negative. So which means we're on the same page. If you pay attention, 11 and 1, so big number is 11. If you pay attention, the sign of the 11, it's a negative sign. So the result has to be negative because the bigger sign is negative. Okay, thank you. Thank you. So I think we got the point, right? Like when we add opposite sign numbers, something like this, we always pay attention the bigger number sign, and we put in front of our result that sign, okay? If it's negative or positive. So we're gonna practice this in your IXL practice after this lesson, okay? So that's why it's very important. So next slide, Next slide is, so now this time we're going to do two things. First, we need to determine the result is negative or positive. Then we need to find the result of those actual sum. Okay, for example, this is the first problem. So first question, so the result is positive or negative? And second question, what is the result? You can answer like in one. So what do we do? Okay. It is a negative, thank you. So it's going to be negative because your bigger number is 9 and the sign of the 9 is negative. So tell me what happened when you add these two numbers.
Sorry, I'm having trouble hearing.
Okay. Yes, it is a negative 3. So the second step is once you find out the sign of the negative sign, so you just need to subtract each other, like 10 minus 7. Like I know it's addition, but because of the opposite sign, you need to subtract, then it's negative 3. Thank you so much. Everybody got right answer. Okay, so let's see on the next one. So now you have positive and negative numbers. Tell me the result of the sign of the result and what is the result? So 8 and negative 16. So you have 8 and 16. So I can tell 16 is the bigger number, means yes, it is a negative. Thank you. And so what will be the number? Yay, everybody got it. Okay, thank you. It is a negative 8. Thank you. Wow, I have a lot of. So yes, it is a negative 8 because bigger numbers, negative sign and negative, and if you subtract 16 minus 8, it will be 8. Okay, so negative 8. And last one, I think we have 2 more or 1 more. Let's see. Okay, now this time, let's see. You have 2 numbers with opposite signs. One is positive, one is negative. So what do you think? Yes, somebody already told me. And actually it shared in it. Okay, yes, it is a positive. So what do you think? Yes, we have answers. It's a positive number, and I don't have to put negative sign then. So what do you think if you do the subtraction? Thank you. Yes, it is a positive because my big number is 65 and sign of the 65 is positive. Actually, there is a no sign for 65, but because if there is a no sign, we assume it's a 65. Okay, like try to not to put 2 pluses. Thank you so much. Yes, it is a 53. So if you subtract if you do 65 minus 12, it will be 53. Thank you. You guys are awesome. Cool. Yeah. So last one. I think there is one more. Yes, it is one more. So this time, try to use the calculator that I trained yesterday. Or like before you do the calculation, tell me the result, whether it's positive or negative. If you pay attention these two numbers, which one is the greater number, 105, 105, or 126? Okay, for Khan Academy, hold your question. I'm going to help you at the end of this lesson, okay? So the bigger number is 165, 126. Yes, negative, because your bigger number is 126 and sign will be negative. So what do you think the result would be? Yes, it is negative. Thank you. Okay, you tell me what happens. Yay, you got it. It is a 21 because you need to subtract 105 from 126, smaller number from bigger number, and put bigger number sign. So it's going to be 21. So do you know, guys, like how to do it? Like thumbs up. Like if you got the point about adding opposite sign numbers. Yes, it is a negative 21. Thank you. Some answers are coming late. It's probably, you may have some internet connections, might be low. It's okay. Thank you so much. Everybody got the right answer. I'm so surprised. Like this lesson was new and everybody understand the lesson. Okay, so the next slide is actually now we're gonna do the practice on the IXL, and then I'll answer your questions if you need help in any of your assignment. Okay, and let me clear this. Let's see what we have in the next. So next thing is you have an assignment. Okay, if you did it already, that's awesome. That's perfect. And you can, if you already do it, you guys can do the exit ticket and you can leave from session, okay, if you already finished. But if you need help with IXL, please stay here. A couple examples. And then, so is you need to go to your Google Classroom and you need to find a classwork tab and find the assignment named as like IXL C1. So I just posted this morning. And then your username and password is the same thing. In case if you don't remember, just leave a comment so I can understand that you have a problem signing in. So now let me help you what it looks like about C1. Okay, so this is the practice. This is, so let's wait, it's loading. I need to sign in. And remember and sign in. So this is actually like we're not doing a calculation, by the way, for this practice. We just need to tell whether result is positive or negative, okay? And so if you pay attention, you need to like underline or circle the number that has a bigger number. So 65 is bigger than 21. And if you pay attention, the sign of the 61, it's a positive, which means your result will be positive. Okay, always like, oh, by the way, there are two different kind of questions in this practice. One is opposite sign numbers. The other one is the same sign numbers from yesterday. So we're going to do both examples now. Okay, so 61, big number is 61 and sign of the 61 is positive. The other one is negative. So big number sign will always overcome in this battle, I can say, or in this addition. Okay, so it's a 61 and let's set it, we got it. Okay, perfect. And the second thing, so again, this is the opposite sign numbers, 80, 80 and -1. Let me zoom in because you guys may seem very small. Okay, so the second number is like a bigger number is 80 and these are opposite sign numbers. So that means like you need to pay attention, larger number sign. It's 80 is positive, so your result has to be positive, okay? And I'm gonna go a couple more because, okay, this is a different example now. So both numbers are negative, right? Means we did this like yesterday, same sign numbers will result same sign, which is a negative. If both of them are negative, which is negative. So submit it, got it. And both numbers are positive, which is positive, submit it, okay? So, and both numbers are negative, which means on the number line, both arrows are going left, which is result will be also left, smaller left, actually, smaller negative number, okay? So, do we understand now? For example, this is the opposite sign numbers because -33, +77 means you need to pay attention the big number sign, and the 77 is positive number, so result has to be positive number, okay? So this is about the IXL for your assignment for today, okay? And so somebody asked me to help you with Khan Academy. Yes, I do. Just give me a minute. So let me help you with the Khan Academy now. So this is your assignment, by the way. Before you leave, make sure you do the exit ticket. It's because exit ticket, it's kind of assessment that you understand today's lesson, okay? It's just an informal assessment. I grade this based on your effort, okay? Not the accuracy. I just want to see that what you learned today, like I want to say it, I want to see it, like you need to type it very briefly in a short way. And then you have a couple problems like that you need to do with your calculator. Actually, it's a calculator practice. So this is the like a problem. It's kind of game problem. So what do you think? If player had the following cards, what is the value of this his hand? Means like you need to add all these numbers. You just use your calculator, like 1 plus -7 plus 4, and what do you think? And then the same thing. You have 5 minus 9. So which one is the bigger number? And use your calculator. What do you think the result would be? And the same thing for this one. So try to use your calculators. By the way, okay. So I'm going to tell you something about these two problems. Okay, just try your best using your calculator, and I'll check this. And last one is the same assessment that. Okay, now about Khan Academy. If you need Khan Academy, just follow me, and you need to go to your number lines. If you click the start, and we're going to start doing the questions now. It's just only 4 questions, okay? And let's go. So you just need to type here the missing in this equation. So look at the graph, look at this number line, and tell me the value of these arrows. And when you your value of these arrows, you need to put also the sign of those numbers, okay? This is what I mean. For example, this arrow, like starting at 0, so this has to be first arrow and first number. So it's going like 1 block to the left, right? And if you pay attention to the equation, they already put it -1, which is, yes, it is a -1 because it went 1 step left. And pay attention to the second arrow. Second arrow is always starts at the end of the first arrow, and it's this one. How many blocks it's going to the left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's going to the left, means it's going to be -6. And it's equal. Equal means you need to tell the sum. Sum means your final destination. So your arrow ended at, look at this, it's at -7. So this is your sum, or this is your equal value. So it's going to be -7. Okay, if you click it, we got it. And one more, it's a similar example. This time you need to put the whole equation by yourself. So tell me which arrow starting at 0 and the bottom one, because this is the beginning of the arrow and this is the end of the arrow. And this arrow starting at 0, how many blocks to the left? 1, 2, 3, 4. Because if it's going to the left, you're going to put your first number -4 and plus. So your second number is your second arrow, which means it's starting at end of the first arrow, this one. And tell me how many blocks it's moving to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so because of it's going left, it's -9, -9. And it's equal because you need to write equation, and equal means like, what is the final destination? So final destination is -10, -11, -12, -13, okay? So -13. This is how you do your Khan Academy. So you need to type these numbers, the value of these arrows, and make it equal the final destination. The final destination is -13, okay? And let's check it, we got it. So this time you have up and bottom, different directions. So tell me which arrow starting at 0 and the arrow on the left side. So because it's starting at 0 and it's ending at 2 and it's 2 units up. And they already gave us the first number, so we don't have to worry about the first number. Plus, so now we need to figure out the value of the second arrow. And the value of the second arrow starting at the end of the first arrow, it's right here. And how many blocks it's moving to the downward to the bottom. So let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So because of it's going 7, you're gonna put in front of a 7 negative sign, okay? And equals at the end of the what is the final destination of your moving arrows? And it's at -5. Okay, it's right before the -6, which is -5. Okay, And here we go. Thank you. Yes, I can see your results, by the way. I'm not commenting. You guys are typing in the chat box. Thank you. So last question is like arrows are going left and right, but you need to make sure which one comes first. The arrow that's starting at 0 comes first, and it going to the left means you need to put the negative number. The length of the arrow is three blocks, so which means -3 and plus. So second arrow is positive number, it's going to the right. What is the length of the arrow? Is a 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be +4. So I don't have to put any sign in front of 4. So it's equals. So what is your final destination? Pay attention to the second arrow, because this is the last step you did it, and you ended at 1. So your result will be 1. Okay,